Welcome back for another Tesla Tuesday tip. This is one that I've actually been wanting to work on for quite some time and just haven't really had the chance to. So this Tesla Tuesday tip is that your battery temperature and your state of charge, or SOC, can really impact the way that your car drives, both performance-wise and braking. Well, regenerative braking. The first thing right here is I'm actually going to show you 3 different videos together. This is my car doing 0 to 60 at 7% state of charge, 51% state of charge, and 97% state of charge. I did include the temperature just because temperature can have a bit of a factor on tire grip, but I tried to keep it very similar either way. I know there's about a 10-degree difference between them, but I still tried to keep it as even as possible. And let's just watch this really quick. So I start all the cars at the exact same time. The camera is rolling at 30 frames per second, and as soon as it changes from hold to 0 is where I've lined them all up. And you can see that the 51% and the 97% finish very similarly. It's kind of hard to tell when they're all side by side like this, but I went through and broke it up frame by frame just to give you a better idea of what's going on here. And I know that this is not scientific because I don't have a Draggy or anything else to test my 0 to 60 times. So I'm gonna go off the number of frames that occur from it changing from hold/0 to 60 miles an hour. And I counted them up, and the fastest one was, of course, 97% state of charge. So the 97% state of charge finished in 149 frames. Divided by 30 frames per second is 4.97 seconds. At 51%, it had 152 frames, or 5.07 seconds. And at 7%, it was 168 frames, or 5.6 seconds. This might not seem like a lot, but half a second is actually a pretty good chunk. In fact, Tesla sells a 0.5 second 0 to 60 increase boost for their all-wheel drive vehicles for $2,000. So that just kind of puts it in perspective. A $2,000 upgrade is the same difference as a low state of charge versus a high state of charge. So if you watch Tesla videos of people racing and stuff like that, and they talk about how their SOC or state of charge was low, this is why. This is why it's important. Especially in the performance cars, it can make a really big difference. So that's the first thing. The next thing ties in with that is if your battery is too full, you actually cannot get regenerative braking to work very well. So regenerative braking is when you let off the accelerator and the car starts to slow down, it almost feels like you're hitting the brakes. But instead of using your brake pads to squeeze the rotors, what's actually happening is you're using kinetic energy, putting energy back into the battery and slowing your car down. This is a great feature to have because it makes your brakes last a long time. But if your car battery is too fully charged, there's nowhere for that energy to go. So you let off the accelerator and your car just kind of glides. It feels like you're in neutral. So that's the second impact to having your battery charged all the way. You get the performance boost on one hand, and on the other hand, you get less regenerative braking power. So like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, one of the other things that impacts your driving style or abilities, I guess, would be the temperature. And so if the battery is too cold, you're actually gonna have limitations on both regenerative braking and power. This is because batteries heat up when you put too much power in them or when you try to pull power from them. And so because the car does have this battery management system, basically if the battery's too cold, you will not get regenerative braking, or it'll be very soft, I guess. It'll be very calm, and you'll still most likely have to use the regular brakes. And also your performance is gonna be limited. Some EVs can already overcome these things. Instead of having no regenerative braking because the battery's cold, some EVs know that the battery's not able to accept a charge, and so it's going to apply the physical brakes instead of using the regenerative braking. This is not something that Tesla has implemented yet. I'm not really sure why they haven't done it yet, but I think it would be good for them to switch over to that at some point in the future. So I know I've talked about some downsides or some weird impacts from having the battery be too full or it be too cold. But one of the perks is that this battery management system that these cars use is actually very intelligent. And so, for example, if you drive a gas car and it's super cold outside it's really good for you to turn the car on and let it idle for a bit just to warm up the oil temperature and things like that. And if you don't, it's just not good for the engine. In an EV, however, that doesn't matter. The car's gonna take care of it for you. So you might have limited power, but you can hop in the car when it's -50 out and floor it all you want. Again, you might have reduced power, but the car is taking care of it to protect itself. So it's not something that you have to worry about. All in all, driving an EV does have a bit of a learning curve to it. But that's why I do these Tesla Tuesday tips, just for new owners or people who have never been in a Tesla. If you get the chance or are planning on buying a Tesla, these videos are specifically for you so that you understand what's going on or why your car might be driving differently because it's super cold. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.